Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Buggy, and welcome to Broken Hearthstone. Now, we're gonna go over the newest set that we have, Forged in the Barrens, and we're gonna look at what the new mechanics are and what the ideas are, and we're gonna look up some cards that are released, and then we're going to be opening some packs for the current expansion. I made a mistake last video of putting my camera over the deck tracker, and well, I gotta atone for that somehow. So, without that further ado, I would just say that, yeah, you've probably seen the cinematic trailer and the announced trailer. So let's just go back into, well, the bundles are always the same with a lot of good stuff. But let's get into the first thing that they're going to release. It's the new keyword Frenzy. So whenever a minion takes damage and survives it for the first time, it's gonna trigger a special effect. And I think this is pretty cool. It's gonna be interesting because Warrior and, well, in general, just Warrior and Hunter are just going to be a lot more able to hit their minions. So those are definitely going to be classes that are going to benefit from this. Apart from that, the mechanic seems to be a bit hard to pull off because a lot of times your minions will die immediately. At least in the current expansion, it's either you kill it completely or well, nothing really happens. However, when rush is involved, then things come a lot interesting because you can dictate what you're going to hit. And that's why this Druid of the Plains, for example, is a super good card. It's a beast, and it transforms into a 6/7 Coda with Taunt, which is insanely good. But we'll talk more about the cards later. So that's what Frenzy is. So you play a card, if it gets hit and it survives the damage, then you're going to get the effect from it. Obviously, Broomstick indeed is going to be better. Now, what I really like is that they are going to add schools, is how they name it, to the cards. So you're gonna have arcane spells, spell spells, fire spells, frost spells, nature, holy, and shadow, which is going to add a completely new dynamic within the spells era, because spells were kind of underused a lot. Well, not underused, but I feel like they always could have gotten more out of it, and I feel like they now are really starting to do this with adding the specific schools to them, and well, there's going to be a complete expansion from there on out. Now, all the previous cards are also going to be categorized in these schools. So every card that we have now is going to become either Arcane, Foul, Fire, Frost, Nature, Holy, or Shadow. So that's super cool. I really love that. And then you have cards that only react to a certain type of spell or school, which is super nice. Now, again, now these are ranked spells. I gotta say, I like this as well, because the big problem is that you either go really late game or you go really early game, but with these ranked spells, what they do is they level up at a certain point of mana. So if you have 5 mana, they summon a 3/2 imps, and at the end, when you have 10 mana, they summon 3/2 imps. So it's a perfect card for any stage of the games. So they are going to be an easy inclusion in a lot of decks, at least if the effect is okay. So these are just going to be really strong cards. I really like this because it's always hard to draw the correct cards. And well, I just want to have that unlucky factor of not drawing your early stuff get removed as much as possible, because I think that's something that's really frustrating when you draw your opening hand. You can just lose on the spot because you just draw your first 3 best cards, and that's why aggro is also so very prominent, because they have a harder time drawing that bad hand at the start. So I really like this mechanic. I expect a lot from it. Alright, so here we have the cards. I'm gonna go over them briefly because, very briefly, because in general, you don't really know how good the cards are until you get the complete set, so I'm not going to be ranking them, I'm just going to be talking about them a little bit. Desperate Prayer is the first card, it's a holy school spell. And, well, honestly, this just seems not good at all with me. I mean, 0 mana spells are always have a place somewhere, but I think Healing 5 is just so mediocre. It maybe could be used with the current quest that a priest has, but even then, healing for 5 is usually not good enough. I wonder if you really want this in your deck. I think it's better if you're going to be discovering it. So this is just a card you're going to be discovering. You're not going to put this in your deck to start with. Now, the Spirit Healer, after you cast a holy spell, give a random friendly minion +2 health. So this is a really heavy priest card, I would say. I don't know if it's that good, but it could provide for a very, very sticky board. If priest is going to start getting smaller minions and minions with a little bit more attack, then maybe this card can get in there to really make a really sticky board. So it's definitely possible. This is going to strengthen the ramp priest style or the buff priest. So that's good. I think this card has some promise. We are going to have to see what else is going to be in the expansion for it to make it good. So the Imp Swarm, I like it. You know, it's really good for in Zulok. So you have some just swarming capabilities at the end. I think this is just a good card. I don't know if it's going to be played a lot, but I do feel like it's just solid, and it could even really go into a big warlock. So with a big warlock, that would really work, because yeah, this is just a good card for maybe in a big warlock. I hope to see that archetype return, or at least get somewhere this time. Because every time Warlock pops up, it's either going to be the Zoo Warlock or it's going to be the new Ticketus Warlock, the Corruption Warlock. And that one I kind of think is a bad decision for the game. But yeah, this is a cool card. It's a 1 rank card we can see right now. And it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I don't think, I think it will see some play. Yeah, my favorite card of that complete set that we have right here is the Druid of the Plains. Not to be confused with the Aeronautical Advanced Druid of the Plains. I like this joke quite a lot. But this is a super good card. For 7 mana, it's a beast. It's super good for like in a Zoth Resurrect Druid. A Resurrect Druid, or just a all minions type druid, and I think this card is going to see a lot of play, like a lot of play. I think this is going to be one of those cards you're just going to see in nearly every druid deck. So as for example, you have the current Emerald Drake. I think this is just going to be in a lot of decks. So the Sunscale Raptor, it's a frenzy card. Shuffle a Sunscale Raptor in your deck with permanent +2/+1. So, interesting thing about this card, you could. It's a bit difficult to see because it's an anti. How do you say it? Anti-fatigue card as well. However, playing this as a 1/3 and then drawing it back as a 3/4 later in the game. For 1 mana, I don't know if that's super good because, well, it keeps scaling, I guess. So that's interesting because if you draw it the second time, it's a 3/4 and then you play it again and it becomes a 6/5. So that's pretty cool. However, you have to draw it, and I'm not sure if you're putting such a minion in your deck more towards the later game, it's going to be good because, well, you have to draw it nearly like 2 or 3 turns after you put one inside of your deck. So that's a bit tricky. Maybe something cool can be done with drawing it after, like only putting this beast in there and playing it, doing a damage to it, drawing it again, playing it again immediately after. But that just seems a little bit unreliable without any real self-inflicting damage. However, this can definitely bump up the Beast Hunter archetype. So the Razor Main Raider. Call me Hedgehog one more time, I dare you. Yeah, not sure if this is super good. The stats lines are amazing. 5/6 for 5 mana is solid. If it's going to see any play, it's probably going to be inside of Warrior. And maybe with a rush, you can have it hit twice. So you play this, you play the broomstick, you rush it into something, it survives, it rushes into the other minion. So that's pretty good. So in general, I'm not sure about this card. This one is really hard to judge. But I think that there will be a place for it inside of the next meta. Just because it's another hit. Like attacking twice with a rush capability, just attacking twice is just super good in general. So I think this will see some play. Not that much though. We'll have to see for the other cards. This is cool. I'm not sure how good it is though. So this card, if you play it, it is going to be putting a card in your deck that is called Olgra, Mankirk's wife. And if you draw it, it puts in a 3/10 in play, which immediately attacks the enemy hero. So I guess this is good for aggressive decks. However, again, a 3/10 is kind of an awkward stat line. And again, you have to draw it. You have to draw it. I don't know, I kind of like it. It's really difficult to say what this is going to be because I feel like it's unreliable, and a 3 mana for 3/4, maybe it's good. Maybe it's good. We'll have to wait and see, but it's an interesting card to be sure. Definitely going to be having some memes with this deck, with this card. It's going to be a fun card to play, and pulling off the Olgra's wife, Mankirk's wife, is definitely going to be fun. But in general, I think this card is not that good. I think there are better things to do at 3. Actually, 3 mana is not that much used. Maybe this card will see some play. Right? Also because you don't draw it and it comes into your hand. So, okay, this is pretty good. This is pretty good. I can live with this. Yeah, Peon. This is like Frenzy, add a random spell from your class to your hand. This is going to be a card that's going to be played. Like it's cheap, it has a good stat line, and it can fit in a lot of decks. It's just a good filler card. I don't know if it's going to be in like super refined decks, but this is definitely going to be seeing some play. Like, it's going to see some play. It's a standard filler card of 2 mana. It's just good, and adding a random spell from your class to your hand, it's not the worst. So Brukan, Nature, spell damage +3. +3 is insane for spell damage. And 4 mana is not bad, 5/4 is not bad. This card is good. If the spell damage Shaman is already a little bit of an archetype. I wouldn't say it's fully fledged yet, but it's definitely getting there, and this is going to strengthen it a lot. We'll have to see which spells are going to become nature and which are not. But yeah, this is a very promising card, and I think it's going to be played definitely in a spell damage Shaman, but it's not going to be played in any other spell damage Shaman. So this is a card for one deck only, which is kind of a bummer. So Chain of Lightning, rank 1. Oh, this is another upgrading card, which is super good. Deal 2 damage to a minion and a random adjacent one. So it's either left or right. So, and can you choose that? No, it's random. And this is 3 damage and 4 damage. Well, this is good for anti-aggro. And I think it ties in well with like a big Shaman archetype. Maybe this nature spell damage +3 guy, what's it called, Brukan, And this can be done inside of a big shaman, which has been completely out of the meta for a long time. And I hope seeing it back, because I like shaman with the big stuff that they can play. Like I like the nature kind of shaman. So I like that they put in this card, especially because it's an upgrading one, and it's going to be very good at fending off some aggro. I do wonder a little bit, once you get into like 10 mana, how helpful is forward damage going to be unless you're already kind of dominating the board. But definitely this is a solid card. I think this one is going to see play. Blazeman's Samora. So this card I just don't really get. Like, is this just another warrior card? So you Taskmaster it and then you Frenzy it? Maybe it can also be played in Paladin decks. For example, a Library Paladin. Then you can do 2 to the board at once. So this is the weirdest card in there by far. I'm not sure if this is going to see a lot of play, unless we see some heavy buffing of attack in the cards. But that's why I'm saying warrior and maybe rogue and paladin. And for the rest, I don't think this is going to see a lot of play. But this is an interesting card, definitely. Oh, maybe priest as well. If the buff priest actually comes around, that would be nice. So yeah, we have this card. It's good for, well, cheating out big minions from your own side. But I also like that it's kind of an offensive card when you go play against, for example, a Ticketus. If you can get that card out of their hand, it's just game. So that's pretty interesting. I do think that this is going to keep seeing play for a while, but it's going to go out of the meta pretty soon as well. It's not something that's going to stay there. But it's definitely a good inclusion in any big deck. So, and it seems like we're going for like a semi-big archetype kind of stuff in the next expansion. So that's going to be nice to see. Okay, so as I said in the start of the video, I have to atone for a little bit of a mishap. So I got 15 packs here that we're going to open together, and fingers crossed, we are going to get some good cards. So without further ado, let's just start opening packs. But most of this is just going to be complete crap because I got most of these, if not everything. Oh, that's nice. I like having enough, a little bit more dust. Ooh. Hey, legendary. Ah, that's nice. That's super good. Woo. Opening Tenwu of the Red Smoke. This is a very good card. I didn't get this one yet. I think this is just solid in a lot of rogue decks, and I think it's one of the most underused cards that there is, so very happy with that. Okay, nothing very special. And, well, I have a bunch of these, like 2, like every card I have. I don't have every card in the game though. Like, I don't spend every single dime I have on it. Oh, maybe that was a bit too fast. Oh, I can just press my space button. Nothing. Golden? Oh, an Oh My Yogg. That's nice. I didn't have 2 of those yet. And one of the most... Well, this is a good dust value. The golden one. Okay, nothing special. Okay, well, again, good dust value. And a last pack. And nothing. Okay, well, we did get a legendary there. That's super nice. Let me go check it out. So where's the new cards? Let me go check. Like this, super bad, super nice for like, that's super good. Lovely. All right, well, that wraps it up for this episode. We went over the expansion. I hope you learned something about it. And if you like more of these videos, just let me know. I'll keep track of the update. Bye-bye.